Hello, everybody. Welcome to our landscape webinar this afternoon. We're going to give everyone a few minutes or just 30 seconds or so to come on in. But in the meanwhile, my name's Rachel. I'm from WAC and I'm located in Cleveland, Ohio. Just if you guys want to put in the chat where you're from, we'd love to see where everyone's located from across the United States today. And then we'll get started in a few seconds.
Possibly Canada, right, Rachel?
Oh, yeah, that's Canada as well. Where are you from,
Yeah.
Todd? Where are you at today?
I'm in North Carolina. Yep.
Very nice. So we have Kellan on. Kellan, where are you at today?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. And Robert, you're from sunny Florida. Not that I'm jealous in my 12-degree weather up here in Cleveland.
Cold day at 73. Put on a sweater this morning.
Yeah, it was 12 this morning when I left the house.
Oh, quite a few.
Hello, I see New Jersey, Guatemala. Hello from Guatemala.
Montreal,
Who else do we have?
Ontario, Quebec City.
Oh yeah, here we've got some Canadians, our Canadian friends. Arizona, Bay Area, more Charlotte, North Carolina, more Florida,
Nice.
Texas, Montreal, Chicago, Mobile, Alabama. Welcome. You're headed to Cleveland on Friday, New Jersey. Well, you're not, the weather's not too different.
Must be for the football
Awesome.
game.
Oh, we've got Canton, Ohio as well. It's not far from me. We're in that 17 degrees, 12 degrees. All right, well, we'll get started. Thank you all for coming today. We are excited to share this information with you this afternoon. Let me just share my screen. So we're here to talk about the power of adjustability and how you can transform outdoor spaces with WAC. Mode. And we have some presenters for you this afternoon. We have Todd Goers from WAC, Robert, and Kellan. Todd, do you want to talk about yourself a little bit and talk about where you've come from and how you got to where you are today?
Would love to. Yeah, so my name is Todd Goers, and I'm the sales director for WAC Landscape Lighting in the green channel industry, which we call it. And I have been with WAC Lighting since the inception of the landscape lighting category. And I was working for a competitor up until I received a phone call one day from a recruiter saying that WAC would like to chat with me about coming on board and heading up this, this division with them. And I got to be honest, I had little interest, but took the interview, and I'm so glad I did because what was shown to me during the interview was the accent light, which is one of our top 5, items today. But it was all about the adjustability of this fixture that led me to make the move to WAC. And the adjustability aspect of landscape lighting prior to WAC lighting jumping into this space was non-existent. So I saw it as a game changer, something that was going to, transform the industry into something bigger than and better than what it was. And it sure has turned out that way. So happy to be here today. And I'll turn it over to Robert, and he can say a few words about himself, and then we'll hear from Kellan.
Okay, am I?
Oh, I think Robert has some spotty.
He's back-ish.
Okay, you hear me?
There we go.
Yep.
All right. You want some background on myself?
Yes.
Okay, I used to be, I had a company that did healthcare plans for large corporations who were self-insured. And we had clients like Ralston Purina, Hewlett Packard, Walmart, Pillsbury, Burger King, huge clients all over the country. We had people here went public. I retired, and this is my career. Place. I said that was fun. I only had to work a couple months a year. I hated it, so here I am doing landscape. 20 years later. This is my 21st year and going strong.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert. Kellan?
Yeah, so I grew up with a mom was a horticulturist, my dad was a builder. So the joke was if I didn't go to school, I'd end up working for the family business and switch majors to landscape architecture. And for the last 17 years, I've been doing that. I own a luxury design build firm. So we design and or build outdoor projects, mostly really high-end residential type stuff. I got into lighting through International Landscape Lighting Institute and started developing where I still mentor for that. And it's one of my favorite things to do. So we design all the landscape projects, but we also kind of get to design for lighting, and which is kind of a special position that we get to do. And I enjoy it a lot.
Very nice.
Great. Todd, you want to jump into accent fixture family?
Yeah. So in the beginning, that's how all good stories start, I believe. But in the beginning, there was a fixture that we rolled out, and the intention was to have just one accent light, and it was the 5011. This fixture, back when it was first introduced, you can see the specs on the screen here today where it sits. And today it's 50 lumens all the way up to 1,160 lumens. Back when it first started, this was a 2-watt to 16-watt fixture that had the range of 190 lumens to 1,045. So you can see how we've lowered the low end down to 50 lumens at 1 watt, and then we've increased it on the top end to 1160. But the plan was never to have a family of these fixtures. It was just to have this one fixture. But when we got started, I quickly learned that we couldn't just have one. There were folks that said, hey, this fixture is either too large, or I'll never use the higher end of the wattage that I feel I'm paying for. So we were forced to expand the line and make a smaller fixture, which we did, which is a 5111. The cool thing about both these fixtures and the next one we're going to talk about is not only is the brightness adjustable, but the beam angle is adjustable. Back to the 5011, that beam angle is adjustable between 10 and 60 degrees and everything in between. And this fixture here, it goes from 10 degrees to 50 degrees, and you can see the lumen output on this, which is also on the screen. It's 45 to 365. But this footprint of this 5111 is about half the physical size of that 5011. So it's sort of the little brother. And we really didn't want to make this because it was kind of capturing everything that the 5011 already was capturing, but aesthetically, oftentimes it looked better in the landscape space. And obviously, this comes at a little less money, so that was attractive to many folks. So we had a collection of 2 accent lights. And then we were at a trade show in Texas, and the saying about Texas and everything being bigger and better, I think is how it goes, held true, because we had some contractors, designers, come to us at that trade show in Texas saying that they were putting the 5011 up in trees, doing some downlighting, but they were putting the fixtures, as high as 50 feet in the trees. And it just wasn't putting enough light, even though they were turned all the way up, wasn't putting enough light on the ground. So we decided to make a 5211. The 5211, we call it our grand accent light, and this rounds out the family of accent lights. This fixture, you can see the specs on it on your screen, 15 degrees all the way to 60 again as far as the beam angle goes. Multiple Kelvin temperatures, as the other two. I didn't mention that, but you can buy these in 2,700 or 3,000 generally. 5011 and this 5211 you can buy in 4,000 Kelvin. But this fixture, you can see 740 is the low end as it relates to lumens, and it goes all the way to 2,000 lumens. So very powerful fixture. And if you need to light something very tall, or you want to put a fixture very high up in a tree and do some moonlighting effect, this would be the fixture that would take care of that. So that rounds out the collection of accent lights. And from there, we're going to talk real quick about our two wall wash fixtures. This is a 5021. This has been in the line since we started. Almost 1,000 lumens if you want it, but on the low end, 190. It has a, you can see here a beam spread of 50 to 80 degrees. It's a great fixture for putting a wide swath of light onto a surface. Very similar to the accent family, we developed a baby brother to this fixture called the 5121, and you see that on your screen here. This fixture is really neat. It's just a favorite of mine, but this has 2700 Kelvin or 3000 Kelvin both on board. So you can make this fixture A or B just by the turn of a dial on the back of this fixture, opposite of the light output. Brightness control, again, just like some of our other fixtures, 80 to 420 on this one. Just a great little fixture. Again, about half the physical footprint of the big brother to it, the 5021 we just talked about. And as a broad overview, just on all these fixtures that we've talked about, you can purchase these in aluminum or brass construction. When it's in the aluminum version, you have the choice of black or bronze generally. Some of them, the mini products in the wall wash here and also the accent come in white. So you have that option. But, we do give you some choices as far as the colors go. So that rounds, I don't think we have any other wall washes here that we're going to talk about today, Rachel. I think we're now going to turn it over to the designers and contractors that are installing this, and we're going to get to hear firsthand how they're incorporating these products and the meaningfulness of the adjustability from them at this point. So Kellan, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. So you were mentioning, yes, some of these early versions. So this was, I think, my earliest WAC project I did. So this is when you only had the 50 series, so the 5011 and 5021. So this was kind of our test project with the products, and I think it turned out pretty great. I'm still pretty proud of this one. So functionally, we had a mixture of things here. It was kind of a tricky layout, trying not to hotspot different areas that we didn't want to light, which was successful in some places more than others. But great client. I think he was like 89 years old or something like that. And he wanted his little cottage area to be lit. And he'd seen one of our projects elsewhere. And he's like, this is what I want. Didn't expect this project to go very far. And we're like, okay, yeah, we'll see what happens. So for this, we have the accents all scattered through this Asian jasmine in the bottom. And then that's kind of what's highlighting the underside of the live oak canopies. And then we also have some 5021s in the trees coming back down. We did use some spread lenses and things to kind of soften them up and to get different throws. And then I believe this was prior to even having the in grade. So it would basically just be those two products that we used pretty consistently. We did use a blue lens to use basically a 4,000 Kelvin coming down, and it's 3,000 Kelvin coming up. But I believe there's something like 30 lights in this shot. So the product does really well at hiding glare to make sure that we can just pretty much see the light, but nothing else. So you can go to the next one. This is, again, a very different idea, but this is a mix of everything. We have some 5021s that are, so that the wall wash that's coming up that wall to just kind of evenly cast everything along the front. We also have some 5011s, or so I think they're 5111s coming up on some of the plant material. And so you can see the conifers in the back, so those are pretty much brushed. I think each of them have a 5111 or two 5111s on them. And then we used a little bit of linear kind of in the back niche area, which, it's not in the adjustable category, but that's how that effect was done. And then we have some of the 2-inch end grades that are what's really showing the underside of those urns. So for our lighting designs and our implementation, we're using a lot of lighting layers. So we typically number them 1 to 5. So 1 is kind of highest priority, 5 is the least. So having that adjustability really allows us to kind of dial in different things that we want to have focus on. So in this case, that bench has a strong contrast, and we kind of want those focal points to work out. So adjustability has become, pretty much a requirement for us, and adjusting each fixture out at night is really part of our process on a day-to-day, project-to-project basis. This is one that was one of our earlier ones. Again, kind of the same product base. So we had 5011 accents coming up on that central tree. And this is where I think there were six or eight on that tree total. So that beam spread adjustability, not only the output was really critical for this one. So we want to really make sure we show from that root crown all the way to the center line of that tree. And so sometimes if you're stuck at, say, 60 degrees, it becomes difficult to take a certain amount of output and get it there. So for this one, we used some narrower beam angles and adjustability up the center of the tree, which kind of keeps that core nice and illuminated all the way to the top. And then we dimmed it down and kind of faded it out and made that wider to the outside. And then the pergola back behind it, that actually has wall washes mounted on the beam that's closest to us here. And that's being bounced up into the top of the ceiling and coming back down. So we actually don't have any down lighting in that space. It's all reflected light coming off of the bottom side of the structure. So it makes a really soft glow, and it's really comfortable to be in that space. Another one, so this has a few different things. So we used, again, the wall wash along that back wall. I think they're 4 or 5 feet off the wall and about 5-6 feet apart. So you can see how even that is. A lot of times I've resorted to linear now, but I really actually still like, if you have the room for it, that layered wash effect. And then we use some 2-inch end grades, some of the 5111s. An interesting one on this, where color temperature adjustability comes in. I don't have the shot that I use for this typically on this, but the palm trees and that back stucco was very similar in color. And even we tried to adjust output, and we couldn't get those two to separate if you looked at it. So we actually changed the color temperature. So it's actually a 2700 on the back and 3000 on the trees. And that was just enough to kind of separate it out. But again, trying to create those layers. The top 2 urns that are sitting at the front here, those actually have 5111s coming out of a tree at a really narrow beam angle and a blue lens. So that's how we're getting that bright, kind of intense green look that's really soft. So it's low level, but it's subtle, but you can kind of see that light coming from down, and that's actually from a tree up above it. Yeah, so this is a atypical use case for wash lights, but this is a group of 5021s. So their primary view for this property is actually not the one we're in right now. It's actually from the lights you see on the house back above. That's their master bedroom. So we wanted to really focus on not so much the wall lighting, but the ground plane. So how that ground looks from above, because it's very illustrative. We've got different patterns and swaths of color and swaths of plants and aggregates and stuff. So essentially, if you are in that bedroom, you don't really see the lights, you don't see the glare on the walls, but you actually see that ground plane really cleanly. So we actually used wall lights functionally, or wash lights functionally, as ground lights to try to get that to be nice and even. And then the secondary was trying to get the wall to look clean. A few little sconces there, or sorry, bollards there, and then we used I think they're 5111s in that bed to the right, where you can kind of see that shadow casting that we're working on. little bit of a sculpture project, which we get into. Adjustability is key on that. I'm really particular on different levels and how we get different elements of the sculpture. It's very easy to blow out parts of sculpture or show too much shadow or too little. So that actually has a 5111 from above. That's kind of that main key light on, or really it's kind of functioning like a rim light on the deer sculpture. And then we've got a few different fixtures inside the bed that are kind of filling little things, but really low level. And probably at this time, before we had the full adjustability down to 1 watt, I probably had screens or something in it to actually even dim them further. I use a lot of fixtures, but they're low level.
Thank you, Kellan. And now we have some shots from Robert, and we'll turn it back over to Robert to talk about these.
Okay, just a quick. We do typically high-end residential, but we do all kinds of jobs from small to large. But the majority, I'd say 90% plus, are high-end residential. I only threw this in because I had it on my phone, like the other pictures, and it just shows some colorscaping. And then there's a lake behind there. And then behind the lake, we did trees. So I only threw it in because of the colorscaping, which we've done a lot of now. And especially along the ocean where people have turtle season and they want the ability to change it. It's a lot easier than going out having to change bulbs or put lenses over your fixtures. They can just use their app and switch it to color changing. So we love that. I'm doing one right now that the owner has spent $70,000 on his guest house, and he's doing the main house, and he's spending $180,000 additional. So it's a good project. This is a house where I am right now. I'm down the street from this house. It's in Landmark Ranches, which is a nice area, which is people like The Rock built a home here. He sold one of his homes to Roman Reigns, who's now the WWE champ. I'm sitting across from Brandon Marshall's house, and around the corner is Tyreek Hill from the NFL. So good area.
Very nice, Robert.
This particular guy, I just last week or 2 weeks ago, he said he wanted to add a few lights to the backyard. He's got a 2-acre property, and he called me up. I figured we'll add 10, 12 lights. He added 208. So he's got about almost 600 fixtures on his property now.
Wow.
It's a nice little project. Anyway.
Yeah, I would say.
Let's see. Go to the next one. Oh, I just threw this in. That was The Rock's original house in the same area, just down the street from where I am. It's a bad picture, but it just showed his house, and it's the same area. So, and we used 5121s and 5021s, all with 2700K on the house, and then 3000K on the trees. And again, it's a crappy picture, but I just was showing the house for the area. That's all. And the center section isn't even lit. But it is in real life.
Robert, those palm trees are being uplit with the 5021 wall wash fixtures?
No, not the palm trees, the house.
Okay.
The wall on the house. The house is wall washers. And mainly we're using 5121s. It's pretty good unless you really have to go high. The 5121s I find are good, and then they're adjustable, so I can use the 27K on if it's a off-white color or stone, I want to use 2700K.
Nice.
Warm it up.
Okay.
And I did on the previous house too. This is just an example of sculpture. We had a customer had an island in the middle of the intercoastal, and he had a yard full of these original sculptures. So we lit them with 5011s, and this was a 5021, just one light. But we had to do all kinds of crazy things to get his sculptures. So he had $100 million of art on the property.
Holy cow.
Anyway, this is a bridge in a high-end community in Delray Beach. It's where Mark Wahlberg just moved. He paid $37 million for his house, got a good deal on it. The homes are on 2.5 acres and 70 acres of open grounds there. This was originally, when I took this shot, it was just two 5011s on each end. We subsequently have switched it to one 5011 and one the 2000 lumen, just to get a little more light, but I don't have a good picture. So I just sent that picture, but it's a really nice community, beautiful community, and they just love spending money, and I love doing it.
How many fixtures, Robert, are lighting that bridge?
4.
Wow.
2 on each end.
Yep.
But again,
Gotcha.
it looks better now with the higher power. I shot the higher power to the middle, and then the 5011s on the end. So, but this is just all 5011s.
Okay.
And 2700K because of stone.
Okay. Next, we're going to talk about this hardscape family. This is a very, I don't know that we have any tremendous real life pictures. We have this one picture right here from our catalog, but these style of fixtures, these hardscape fixtures, we manufacture as many folks do in different sizes, different lengths. And you see here, we make a 3-inch, 6-inch, 12-inch, and 18-inch. Couple things I'll point out. They're made in different colors. You can see on your screen, there's bronze, black, graphite, sand, and brass. These are special because, to my knowledge, there's 2 special things. And to my knowledge, it's the only fixture that has this brightness control on board. We have brightness control on board, and we have Kelvin temperature control on board. These fixtures can be made 2700 Kelvin or 3000 Kelvin. And then you have the option, the fixture second from the bottom is the 6-inch version of this, which is by far and away the most popular size that we sell. That fixture would have a range on it from 1/2 watt to 4.5 watts. At 4.5 watts, it's putting out 110 lumens. But what's special about having these controls on board is if you have a wall that has different heights to it, like the photo is showing, it's the only fixture in this category that I'm aware of that you could evenly light the wall. But what I mean by that is, on the lower sections of the wall, you would put out less light, and as you increase the wall height, you would put more light or add to the scene. Where if you stood back and looked at the wall from a distance, you would be evenly lighting the wall. Where if you're using somebody else's hardscape light, you're just at the mercy of what the light is putting out, and you're gonna have a hotter, brighter scene on the wall at the 2-foot section than you would the 5-foot section. So it's really a nice feature to have the control of brightness on board with these fixtures. One thing I will point out is that we have these controls. They're built into the 6-inch, the 12-inch, and the 18-inch models. And if you're using these fixtures on a consistent basis, you get used to those controls. And we'll have this happen, at least every other month. It seems like somebody will call up, they'll order the 3-inch. And on that fixture, we do not have these controls. You're buying that as either a 2700 Kelvin or 3000 Kelvin product. And there is we didn't have enough room to put the technology to have the controls on that fixture. So you get spoiled, I guess is where I'm going with it. And you want to be careful. So if you're used to the controls and like the controls, really the smallest size would be the 6-inch version of this fixture. Yeah, with that, we can move to the next slide. Here's the other special thing about this fixture. It has what we call a quick release, and the cord generally would always be attached to any fixture, but we have this fixture designed in such a way that you're going to be able to take 2 screws out of each end of this, that the screws attach it to the bracket. We make a masonry bracket and a rotatable bracket. They both come with the product, but once you take those screws out, you're going to be able to just pull the fixture off of the bracket. And so you're not going to have to dismantle the wall, remove capstones, and get involved into the nitty-gritty of the job site. And for this reason, we have many folks that are using this fixture, and it is actually the number, as far as quantity goes, it would be the number one selling item that we sell. Very, very, very interesting design, very practical design. You can't probably see it from the photo here, but we do have a triple O-ring gasket on that plug that plugs into the fixture. And to date, we have not had any issues with water ingression, into the fixture. And I'm sure the fact that it's, generally placed under a capstone and away from the elements also, helps us in that regard. So just wanted to point these out, that they were adjustable and very popular. Depending on where you live in the United States, these types of fixtures are either more popular or less popular. So give them a try if you haven't. They're the greatest hardscape lights I think that you could purchase. What do we have next? Wall sconce lights. So again, in the theme of adjustability and what you can do with fixtures, we have developed this wall sconce. This is relatively new for us, but you're able to control a couple things on this light. Three things, actually. On our standard light, this is a 3611, there's a switch on the side, and you can see it in the bottom right corner of the photo. But there's a switch on the side that allows you to make this fixture 2700K, 3000K, or 4000K. Then there's another switch on the side that you can see the two switches. There's another switch that will allow you to have light come out of just the top, just the bottom, or both. So you have those three options. The other special feature that it has is there's a cap on the top and the bottom of where the light is coming out, and that can be removed. And I don't know if we have another photo, Rachel, of that or not. Yeah, here we go. So that cap in the middle picture you can see is being removed, and then that white piece of plastic that you can see, that'll rotate, and you can have beam adjustment between 35 and 55 degrees. So in theory, you could have a different beam angle coming out of the top than the bottom. So maybe you want to have a wider beam coming out of the bottom because it's along a walkway and it does a better job of illuminating that walkway. And then you could have, just for aesthetic purposes, maybe a smaller beam spread, coming out of the top of the fixture. It's a very, very versatile fixture. It fits in Florida. It's a big thing to have these type of fixtures fit on a pool cage. If you're from Florida, you'll know what that is. If you're not, it's just a huge cage that goes over the pool to allow you to enjoy the swimming pool and not have bugs, and things that, affect your lounging around the pool. But this will fit on a pool cage bar and not have any hangover of the fixture itself, the back plate, into the open space. So it was designed to fit on that pool cage bar in a very nice way, and it does. And if you're using them, you know all the features and what it can do. But wanted to throw this in the mix as one of our adjustable fixtures that has become very popular. The final thing, and I think we may have some photos of this, well lights. We have a couple well lights that we wanted to talk about. The one that's been around since the start of the line has been the fixture here, the 5031. This fixture is available in aluminum or brass. Has a range of 70, again adjustable, a range of 70 lumens all the way to 505. And you can have four choices of the beam angle. We have a 15, 30, 45, and 60 degree beam angle. And you do have to enter the fixture and take the three screws out of the top of this fixture, take the top of the fixture off, and then there's going to be a module that's inside the fixture that you pull out, and you're going to be able to adjust the beam angle and the brightness control of that fixture. It's been very popular fixture for us. If we had any complaints on it, it was really just that it only went to 505 lumens. So we developed another fixture that took care of that, and it would be the 5033. Some people refer to this, I don't think we officially call it a grand well light, but it is called that, a fair amount of time. You can see the range on this 105 lumens all the way up to 2000 lumens. This is a little different than the other one where you had 4 choices of beam angle. This has a design in the module where you're turning a dial and you're getting 20 to 60 degrees. So you have the ability to really fine tune the beam angle that you want with this fixture. You can see some of the accessories that we make, rock guards, and then we have a concrete pour kit. Very, we're trying to always think of ways to help with the glare. I think we're in the process of also, I don't think we have it out yet, but we're in the process of a honeycomb louver lens to help with the glare. So that should be coming out shortly, I believe. And I don't know if we have photos, Rachel, of some of the work that we can talk about, but I'll turn it back over to, I think, Kellan, this is yours.
Yeah, so you can kind of see in this foreground bottom left here. We use a bunch of these. I think there's 20 something of them that go down this cart path. So functionally, we needed something that could be in grade. These are 50 30 ones. So we needed to be able to tilt them, which was one of the requirements. So not only do they have the beam angle adjustment, but they also can tilt. So because this cart path kind of varied and had a lot of cross slope, and if we had just mounted them all square, we wouldn't have a lot of control on exactly how those would be aimed towards the walls. So yeah, we use those basically all down the cart path on the left-hand side, and use them pretty frequently whenever we need to, especially in like grass areas and things like that where we don't want mowers hitting the accent lights. So really good example of this. There's actually Asian jasmine that's running around the bottom of this tree. There is something, I believe there are 18 uplights and somewhere around 8 downlights in this one shot. So if you notice, you can't see any of them. So we used rock guards to try to block some of the glare, and then some of those boulders along the base of the tree are actually strategically placed to hide the light. So we're actually using boulders as glare shields, which work pretty well from this perspective, at least. But we use that adjustability heavily here. So the parts of the oak trees where it's needs to penetrate and get a lot higher up into the canopy, we had a lot more output. You can kind of see that the far left trunk line, that's a little hotter kind of up that center, and that was mainly the only place we could really place it. So that's where you're seeing a little bit more heat there. So we had higher output there, and again kind of faded out towards the edges to get kind of this nice smooth pattern. But normally we would use accent lights in a case like this, but with that Asian jasmine along the bottom, we really don't want someone who's trying to use hedge trimmers or whatever they're doing to prune that to get into our accent lights. So in cases like that, the in grades work really well. That's Roberts.
Robert?
Oh, yes. Okay, those are, again, the in-grade lights on the right, and on the left, you can't really see them, but those are the ledge path lights. So that's the same property as we talked about before, the one that has almost 600 fixtures. He has lights all the way around the property like that. It goes crazy. One thing I also would like to mention, it doesn't have anything to do with the picture, but we do a lot of work in the Keys, and it's nice to be able to go down there and just take a bunch of fixtures, and you don't have to have one different beam spreads for everyone. We can take a bunch of fixtures, and we can just use 5011s for most everything, and they work. And so we don't, if the customer doesn't know, we just take a bunch of fixtures and go. Plus, 5 or 6 years ago, we had a major hurricane down there, and we had a bunch of customers with their fixtures underwater for 3 days, and all of them worked at the end after being under ocean water for 3 days. So it's a great fixture, and we love it.
Thank you, Robert. Hey, I'd like to add to Kellan's comment. I missed it when I was talking about the in-ground fixtures, the well lights. The tilt feature on there is pretty special. It tilts in two positions. The module is rotatable inside the fixture, but then there's a two-step process where you can click it once forward, that'll be 10 degrees, and you can click it another time forward, and that'll be 20 degrees. So you have two options as far as, you can have the light coming straight up, obviously, but you can go 10 or 20. And then depending on where the module is rotated in the fixture, you can also go the reverse of that, 10, 20 on the backside, I'll call it. So every time you rotate it or wherever you rotate it, you'll get 10, 20 going forward and say backwards. So pretty cool feature that we have built in there. And we haven't really talked too much about accessories, but most of the products that we've talked about today, we do make accessory lenses, that spread lenses and frosted lenses and colored lenses. So that sort of thing, can be found in our catalog, or you can talk to your distributor about it, or our online catalog. But a lot of accessories with these products that'll allow you to attain a beefier steak if that's what you're looking for. If you're not happy with the one that comes with it, or say you want another accessory, you can see what's available via the catalog online or hard copy. I think I saw the ends.
I was saying we have a couple of questions come in, Todd, if you want.
Yeah.
So someone's asking about our tape light offerings and our in-ground tape light solutions, if we have them.
We do. We do have that. We have both 12 volt tape lighting, and we have 24 volt tape lighting. We've recently switched over from one style of tape light to another. So we're trying to make it easier. We used to have the 12 volt tape lighting is often preferred because you have a lead wire that you purchase that can one end of the lead wire has two bare pieces of copper, and you're just running that back. Most likely you're patching on some 12-2 or 10-2 wire, and you're running that directly back to the transformer. But then you're able to start your run with the other end of the lead wire, and it just snaps together. Yeah, a butt splice now is what it is. We used to have a bulkier connector that we often got criticized for having. We got rid of that, and we've streamlined it where you don't have to worry about hiding that bulky connector. So I would say again, the tape light. We had a webinar, I believe the one previous to this one, which I think we recorded, Rachel, that spoke just pointedly on the different versions of tape lighting that we had. So if somebody has an interest in that, they probably can go in and find that on our website, Rachel.
Yeah, it's in our YouTube channel, actually. So if you go search WAC, and you'll find the webinar there. But I can also include it in as a link when I send out an email thanking everyone for attending. I'll include that link to that webinar in there as well.
Yeah. So
there was another couple more questions that came in. We'd love to hear a bit more about colorscaping and where to use color.
Wow, that's that could be a long answer, but the colorscaping product. This was not really what this webinar was about, but it is a newer product for us, and I'll speak a little bit about it. But it is something that it's a Wi-Fi product, but it also can be hardwired. So if you have a customer that absolutely has to have a transformer on their property in a place where there is not a strong Wi-Fi signal, you can run a cable from the router directly to the transformer and hardwire it in, making for a very reliable connection. Anytime you can do that is my preference. But oftentimes, the Wi-Fi signal is just fine. But basically what this product will do as a broad overview is we sell it as a tunable white product. It does white from 2700 Kelvin all the way to 6500 Kelvin. And then as a bonus, you get millions of colors. And we have a shorter collection of fixtures that are in the colorscaping family. But again, I know we have on the YouTube channels a series of 7 or 8 videos that speak exclusively to the colorscaping product, and I would encourage anyone that has an interest to go and watch those videos right there.
Thank you. And I can include links to some of those as well in the follow-up email. A final question that I've seen come in is, what about concrete application sidewalks?
Yeah, so a lot of the in-ground products that we have, we didn't talk about our 2-inch in-ground fixtures, but Kellan had at least one photo of him using those. But we do have for those products, and also the well lights that we talked about today, or in-ground fixtures, however you want to refer to them as. But we do have concrete pour kits that are available. And those concrete pour kits are meant to get out in front of the install, and they're put in place prior or while you're pouring this cement, and then you're going back in and you're taking a foam top off of those well light fixture, or those concrete pour kits, and you're dropping the fixture in place and allowing for a nice level and smooth transition for the well light to be in the landscape. So we do have solutions for that application right there. So would encourage you again to look in our catalog to see what we have as options.
There's another question that came in that said, do you have a 2-inch light that has a brow so I can direct the light to the wall without glare as you walk by?
That that could be something that we added very recently, I'm not certain we have that yet or not. Kellan, or Robert, would you know the answer to that?
I haven't seen it.
They also followed up with in ground, so I don't know if that makes any difference, Todd.
Are we talking about like a true brow, or a step light to be used kind of for that case? Because there's options and trims that basically allow light to be emitted from one side that you can use as markers, which would functionally kind of do that purpose.
We've recently added a bunch of a handful of tops to our 2-inch in-ground fixtures that are flush mounted, and they were to help with glare control. I'm not sure they're directing the light onto a wall per se, but again, I would refer and look. I should know, but I don't as far as what those are. But they're recent additions to the line that.
So there is. Sorry, I'm looking at the site real quick. So there's there's a round shroud, and then there's also a round scoop that would functionally do that on the 2-inch side.
Okay.
So yes.
So those are newer. Those are newer for us, and again, a lot of these products do come from requests that we get over and over again, and we try to listen and try to make those accessories available and products available, because we're here to help, and we're in it together, more or less, right?
All right, I don't see anything else that's come through in the way of questions, but I just wanted to thank Kellan and Robert for being our guests today and share, the pros that know from, the field. We really appreciate you guys coming in and giving us your real life experiences. And then, Todd, do you have anything else to say?
No, I'd just like to reiterate, thank you everyone for attending. Kellan and Robert, thank you very much for your time, and everybody that's watching, it's because of you that we get to do this. And WAC, we appreciate all your support. Many of you I know are customers that are probably in attendance, and if you're not, we'd sure love for you to try our products. But we're very proud of all of our products, but the adjustable products are very special, and we're very proud of them. And if you haven't tried them, I think you'll be very pleased when you do.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you all again.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.